Greetings. This is Samir Grady of Earth-Based Records. I want to make my world news report today. Pearl Harbor Day still in the United States, where I'm at. Uh, December 7th, 2021. I'm not going to focus on the events of December 7th, 2021. Excuse me, 1941. Uh, Um, I don't want to focus on the Japanese uh, invasion of Pearl Harbor, which a revisionist or different histories on that. It certainly was the event that I was taught in history class that caused us, the United States, to enter into World War II. The United States was and remains divided on the issues of war because uh, we are a multi ethnic nation. We don't speak with one voice. We're not all from the same place. Theoretically speaking, we are a nation that can avoid these huge wars because we have people here, citizens here, possible citizens, prospective future citizens, and even what you call guest workers, not just from India, where I'm from, in high tech, but from Mexico, here at the border city, California border city, not San Diego, a little north, which is Bakersfield. So I would consider Bakersfield the Central California border city as far as Mexico is concerned. We're inland quite a bit as far as California is concerned. But what California? What do you want from Californians? This is my statement on Pearl Harbor Day, but we are all very aware that the real war that we're having today and talking about today, excuse me, is the war of or the war is not, whether we call it Cold War, or there are different disagreements about how to discuss our ongoing relationship with mainland China. Now, a lot of the past discussions about U.S. policy with regards to China has focused on whether there was one China or there were two Chinas, or like how many Chinas are there? Kind of mainly the subject in American classrooms where I grew up, even in public school in New York City, was like, how many Chinas are there? It's either one or it's two, but then like Japan, Singapore, Philippines, Taiwan we know about, but we don't even know which of these islands is really Taiwan. Or how about Hong Kong? We see the same videos from Hong Kong, today that we saw, 5 years ago, like protests in Hong Kong. So we're not even sure, which one of these islands, the maps, like, I don't know, must be global warming or something. I don't even know the maps from day to day. And all joking aside, this is a few, first of all, first and foremost, I wish I could just leave this microphone on for 1 minute to honor the lost American soldiers. But, like, I can't really do that because I have, well, I would like to, but I'm sure you've done that all day. That's why part of the reason I wait till the end of the day here after 9 p.m. Uh, I'm not, uh, I'm not sure if I have the right tone for this. I do want to honor a lost people from Pearl Harbor Day, and we all know, I've read books myself about the horrors really from the ships, people after the. I remind you that I come from a faith perspective. The problem, of course, being that we are a multi-ethnic country. California, in 1941, California, the Western United States, did not want to enter into World War One. So really, we are divided about World War One. We are divided about that was World War Two. We didn't want World War One either. Uh, I don't know. And then, of course, we certainly don't want World War Three. So, uh, so this is a faith perspective. This is going to be central to my talk here, which is supposed to be world news, but it's going to be a lot of opinion as such, more than news. This is the thing. Um, we are very aware of the discussions and the concerns, both sides, about the Uyghur massacre. I'm going to give you a little science lesson on Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. This, I believe, is central to our disagreement with mainland China. When we speak of China, even when we speak of Japan or Taiwan or Singapore, we do have to have a uniform idea about mainland China. That our policy towards this is our official policy, one China policy. That means we have to look at when we talk about peace with China or trade with China or negotiations with China or relationship, ongoing business or personal relationships with mainland China, we cannot exclude in those discussions, our policies towards Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, or Philippines, or Rangoon, Burma, Myanmar, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, uh, Indochina. Now, why did I say that my understanding of both Uyghur massacre and our China policy, our mainland China policy, our one China policy, has to be centered on our understanding of the theory of evolution by Charles Darwin, a scientist focused not in China but in the Galapagos Islands, which are Greek islands. And I refer you to the great, well, again, I think my tone of voice might not be quite right, Michael Dukakis, who as a former Democrat like Donald Trump, I'm now an independent at the moment, but because of my faith. But the problem I have is, we have so many regrets. And faith is centered to my approach, and it's one of my greatest regrets. Sometimes with your regrets, it's a gift that never stops giving. And faith for Christians is a regret that never goes away. Like that Christmas fruitcake. If you should be so smart as to try to eat it, that may be a regret that also never goes away. And for Democrats in the United States, the failed election of Michael Dukakis in my generation, the treatment of Michael Dukakis, and the subsequent incidents in his life and his wife, Olympia Dukakis, due to the lost election, is like Christmas fruitcake. You know what I'm saying? So now, here we go. I want to make 2 or 3 important scientific points, undisputed science, regarding the theory of evolution of Charles Darwin. It implies, that there is an evolutionary process, that new generations of mankind can be genetically superior than older generations of mankind, This is a scientific theory, so it is not possible really to say, hey, let's take the scientists out of evolution, which is like, new generations of people kind. And not all people are kind, and not all people are of the same kind, which is central to my talk today. And the reason I mention that is the Chinese dynastic succession formula. This is a dynastic culture, China, and I'm not going to say mainland, I'm not going to say Taiwan, I'm not going to say Japan, I'm not going to say Singapore, or excuse me, Taiwan, right? Formosa, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say China. I'm talking about our policy towards the entire region centered in mainland China. I recognize that this dynastic, and this is about the Uyghur massacre, the dynastic culture, the dynastic formation culture, in line with Charles Darwin's theory of evolution, that new generations of persons can become like, Neanderthal man, Cro-Magnon man, Homo sapiens. These are evolutionary advances in the genetic code of humankind. I do subscribe to the, subscribe to the theory of evolution, and I think that the Chinese dynastic formula, whether Ming, Han, or other, is a part of this concept, of Chinese dynastic creation or development. Creation is not, I'm not using that as a code word, really, trust me. What I am saying, my understanding between American education system and Chinese respect is, I want to parallel these two ideas, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution with, Chinese dynastic formation. The problem is, the Uyghur massacre. These are genocides that we see in other parts of the world, Kosovo, Israel, Palestine. We see them, everywhere over time. So we, as a humankind, a people kind, a life kind, we need to revise not our history, which you may disagree. Maybe we should revise our history. You have that right in America. What we need to update is our understanding of Charles Darwin's theory. I'm not changing what is already written in Charles Darwin's theory of evolution. Number one, this is, survival of the fittest. Number two, it is based on random mutations which become proven to be genetically superior, not just for physical fitness, but for other conditions. Now, I refer you here to the very important critical movie in my understanding, and I'm not even sure what I think of the music in this movie. The thing about this movie by Vangelis, Chariots of Fire, is like you're never quite happy with that theme song. You listen to it, sometimes you miss that song, theme song for Chariots of fire, which I was listening to yesterday, in anticipation of thinking about, what was I gonna say, about Pearl Harbor Day today. It's after 9 p.m. though on the West Coast. Now, the development of advanced species, generational, like Cro-Magnon man, Magna Carta man. This this is based on the proven advancements of those people that were previously believed to be genetically inferior mutants. Mutants. When they were teenagers, they were kids, thought that they were inferior. Their parents and the parents, bosses and church elders and everything, or synagogue. I don't think they have too many mutants in synagogue. They might. I'm not saying they could. Look, I don't want to offend the Israeli people. They were involved in, some of these war crimes charges as regards to Israel Palestine, which I remain comfortable using that term, Israel Palestine. Uh, you know, uh, that's the way I want to talk about it right now. Those who at some time were thought to be mutants, they were later proven to be the foundations for the next, dynastic uh, evolution of humankind. Kind. Now, when I say this, and I'm still trying to do 22 minutes and almost 5 minutes left. So, on this Pearl Harbor Day, this is the key. Mistakes in relation to China attachment to this Charles Darwin theory of evolution and Uyghur massacre, which is part of the overall Chinese complaint and complainant. Now, massacring those who didn't make the cut. This is gonna be anti-progress as far as the theory of evolution. You make the cut based on original mutants, not the mainstream dynasty, cookie cutter, Barbie doll, Kaninskis. What about Ken? Keep talking about what about Bob? What about Ken? See? Um, so, the evolutionary development is not based on the identified dynasty. It's based on the mutation. I refer you to First Kings, and Donald Trump does know how to say First Kings in the Bible. The basis of our Holy Grail story in Western, or I shouldn't say Western, more Middle Eastern, but certainly biblical faith is based. This is the Holy Grail story, which is a fascinating mythology to some, but biblically found in First Kings, that it is not the mainstream identified dynasty like Han, Ming, or any other identified dynasty that is the basis of evolutionary advancement. Evolutionary advancement is based on these teenage mutants and their reproductive cycle, The objective to be kind, to be more civilized than the previous generations of humans, Homo sapiens, whatever you want to call them. The objective is to be more civilized, advance civilization from the days of Yabba Dabba, the Flintstones, carrying a club, where we go and club in those woolly mammoths. That was the caveman days in human history. Humans used to hide in caves and carry like a baseball bat and club those woolly mammoths, and that's where they would get their food. When the woolly mammoth came by, club them in the head, and like gang up on them. This was from early evolutionary caveman days. The what you say, the Garden of Eden to biblical people, or the Fertile Crescent between the Nile, the Tigris, Euphrates, and the Pison River to the south, near Ethiopia, in the middle of South Sudan, Ethiopia, those kinds of places is where you might find the Pison curving in Egypt. Now, there is an important point here. With regards to China, we're not talking about this border in Afghanistan, which is resolved by peace treaty. I'm sure everybody knows that. How to create peace in Korea, even though, it wasn't the Koreans on Pearl Harbor Day in 1941, December 7th. It was, of course, today is, a commemoration of Pearl Harbor Day. But I'm talking about Korea, and I have traveled to South Korea, Seoul, the capital of South Korea. I enjoy Korean barbecue just like the next guy. This is the sticking point in the Korea negotiations, the movement of personnel, not products, not raw materials, but people. Personnel from South Korea, where they might have come from the United States. They might have come from London, Paris, Rome, Vienna, Latvia. The movement of personnel from the South Korea, northward into North Korea and beyond, into China, or even into Russia. This is the sticking point. The border, the DMZ, the DMV, the airport security, that is not the issue. The issue is the movement of personnel from South Korea to North Korea. The boundaries of South and North Korea are not the issue, especially when we're talking about a one China policy, a policy covering the entirety of the American relations with China. The issue is, how do we understand these relationships of people moving from south to north in the context of Chinese misunderstandings on how to do this theory of evolution. First, we must recognize it is not the dynasty but the mutant that is superior. Second, when we find these mutants, we must just simply place them in that part of China which best matches the profile of the child when the child is born, or develops a physical likeness. Now, by this, I mean to say, in my understanding, that someone from mainland China does not, in my eyes, and I don't wear glasses anymore. See that? Someone from mainland China does not look to me the same as a Filipino. I don't even look at Filipino, maybe a Filipina. Someone from mainland China does not look, in my eyes, to be the same as somebody even when I went to Japan, from Japan. There may be other parts of, should I say, of the Orient, where these different countries, Malaysia, Singapore, Latvia is, that's out of Russia. Russia is this side of North Korea, though. What I'm requesting from the Chinese government in terms of peace talks, and there's no timetable for peace, nor am I officially authorized. I'm a private citizen. This is like a friend of the court brief in law, and we know we're talking about, abortion as well. I'm not talking about that now. Excuse me. That if the baby looks like more should be in Tibet, should be in Japan, should be in Taiwan, should be in Singapore or Rangoon or these extended parts of these mainstream dynasties, which are, according to the Charles Darwin theory of evolution, these are the inferiors, which are those